So it seems that the Galaxy S21 cameras are actually going to be as ultra as they were always supposed to be. Because yeah, Samsung is apparently exploring some interesting camera options for the Galaxy S21. Microsoft just announced a new Surface Go, Surface Book 3, and a new pair of Surface headphones. And we have some new leaked invitations, quote unquote, for the Poco F2 Pro's launch event. I'm Jaime Rivera, and I am actually regretting every single time that I complain that I travel too much. The joke's on me. This is Pocketnow Daily. The official news today begin with deals. If you remember back when we reviewed the iPhone SE 2020, there was a deal from Visible and it ran out of stock really quickly. Well, Visible just reached out. They let us know that they already have more stock available and there is more coming tonight. So yeah, iPhone SE for up to $184. Follow the link to watch the full review and you've got details on how you can participate. In addition to that, speaking of Apple, we have the 16-inch MacBook Pro, which is currently $209 off for the Intel Core i7 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigabyte of storage variant, leaving it at $2,190. The Apple Watch Series 5 is also $50 off, leaving the 40mm variant for $349. The Fitbit Versa is $50 off as well, leaving it at $150 shipped. And finally, the Jabra Elite 65Ts that I use in pretty much most of my runs is already $50 off, leaving it at $99. We have other deals for Bose headphones and other options in the links in the description. Now let's talk about Google and its products, as we have seen the company shifting into using Nest branding for a lot of their home products, but the Chromecast, for example, remain being a Google Chromecast. Now we have a new report that claims that the Chromecast might be going through some changes soon. Apparently it will be now called the Nestcast and it will run full-blown Android TV. Instead of having the content cast directly from your phone or another device, users would be able to use a remote to interact with the interface, just like TVs with Android TV, though we do assume that casting will continue being an option. It will also be able to stream games through Stadia, and sources aren't certain when we are getting this, but we might probably see some of that at Google I/O. Oh, and speaking of Android TV, apparently it's also going to be rebranded to Google TV, which by next year might probably be rebranded to Next TV, or Nest TV, or whatever. We'll keep you posted as well. Now, if there's one thing that we know about Apple is that the company is great about patenting a lot of stuff that they rarely launch. And we've seen a ton of them for foldables, but mainly for iPads and iPhones. Now we get to see something for the Mac. The planar hinge assembly patent shows a design from a MacBook Pro style device, which would have a single piece body with a seamless appearance that includes a bendable portion, capable of having smoothly shaped curves. The biggest problem is that in this bendable portion, you still have mechanical components that have to be in communication with the rest of the device, doing things like connecting the keyboard to the display, etc. Apple would fix the problem by having this bendable piece work by stacking layers that can transition from an uncompressed to a compressed state. This bendable hinge is apparently going to be more reliable than current ones, but you know Apple, they're really good about throwing us a ton of things they won't launch, so there's no guarantee that it'll eventually happen. Apparently, they're just making sure that the idea remains theirs for there to say that they revolutionized foldables at some point. And well, yesterday the hottest news was the Poco F2 Pro, mainly because, well, it's apparently going to bring all those great specifications, but it'll bring a 5G price tag as well, which is such an irony. The thing about it is, it seems that our friends at Android Authority just got an invitation from Xiaomi's PR agency in Spain for an event to happen on May 12th for a second generation product. We also have the leaked invitation on Twitter from an event for May 12th at 2 p.m. in Madrid, with the invitation looking like the teaser that we showed yesterday. We're expecting for the phone to be powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865, 6GB of RAM, and 128 gigs of storage, though reportedly the price tag is again €649. Horrible, I know. Now let's talk Microsoft. You know, it's interesting that I've chosen not to make this the hottest news, and it has a lot to do with the fact that most of the things that we got announced today are good. Some of these are like, finally, they're here. Not necessarily great. Let's begin with the fact that the company pretty much just showed us their new Surface Go 2 and Surface Book 3. Starting off with the Surface Go 2, it features options from a Pentium Gold to an Intel Core M3 with slimmer bezels in the same chassis as the older model. Specs go from 4 to 8 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of eMMC or 128 gigs of SSD storage, and price starts at $399, which is crazy good. Not necessarily for good specs though, and then could go up to $879 for the maxed out variant. Now the Surface Book 3 brings a similar design as well, but with much better internals. It brings Intel's latest 10th generation processors. It goes up to 32 gigs of RAM with what Microsoft claims to be the fastest ever SSDs. You get to choose the graphics between the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650 Max-Q, the GTX 1660 Ti, or the Quadro RTX 3000 if you go for the business model. Notice you won't find that one easily. And then it comes in two sizes, 13.5 inches and 15 inches, with a promised 15% in boost in performance. The 13.5 inch starts at a hefty $15.99, while the 15-inch costs $22.99, even more hefty. They also announced the Surface Headphones 2, which are now coming in a darker color. They include that ANC that it's known for, letting you manually adjust the levels of noise cancellation if you want up to 13 levels. Now the interesting thing is the drop in price tag. Now they're just $249 with the improvements, which is great. And yeah, those Surface earbuds, the ones that look like gauges, those are also official finally. We saw them so many months ago. You can learn about everything in the description. But finally, the hottest news today have to do with Samsung and the company's plans for the Galaxy S21. I mean, a lot of people have praised the Galaxy S20 Ultra for having an amazing set of specifications in its camera, but not for the delivery of the camera, which is the biggest problem. Now we have a report from Taiwan that hints that Samsung is testing some interesting camera specifications for the Galaxy S21. The report claims that due to the Galaxy S20 being notorious for focusing issues, that's going to be a major priority. It also says that one of the development models is rumored to bring in a 150 megapixel main sensor, a 64 megapixel telephoto, a 16 megapixel wide angle, and a 12 megapixel macro sensor. The report even mentions that the company might drop the time of flight, which is quite interesting at a time when there's so much AR movement. Apparently 2 versions of this model are being tested, one with optical image stabilization on the main sensor, the telephoto, and the selfie camera, and then the other has OIS on the main sensor, the telephoto, and the wide angle. Samsung is reportedly working hard on wrapping up all the efforts it needs to bring a great 150 megapixel sensor. But in today's question, let us know, what do you think Samsung needs to do to actually deliver great photos? Because here's the thing, right now the company is doing all the hardware, the crazy specifications. I mean, the Ultra is a beast on its own, but the camera is not really that amazing. And I think that the biggest problem is because specs are not everything. I mean, the Pixel has far less cameras and delivers far better results. I feel that the company needs to work hard on its software, but that's just me. Leave us a comment down below. We'd love to know your opinion. Friends, again, if you want to get the news earlier, follow us on Pocketnow.com and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. Also follow us on social medias. Our extended coverage happens on Instagram, and follow me on my personal handles to see me regret not traveling. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We will see you tomorrow.